Hello loves and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about some ancestor work that I think it's important to talk about. But before we do, I just wanted to announce a couple of things. First of all, the new workshop for the month of August is up. It is part 3 of the workshop series that we're doing on ancestor work, ancestor veneration, and ancestor healing. This workshop is going to have a very intensive ancestral cord cutting ritual, which is not your traditional cord cutting ritual. This one has a couple of other things included in there, and I'm really excited about it. But yeah, it's currently up. If you want to get tickets, you can get tickets down below. There are ritual kits available, which I would just be mailing you all of the tools that you're going to need for this ritual. And you will have the oil, the twine, you would have the candles that you need, all of the materials that you need. Yeah, I'm really excited about this specific workshop. Is going to be amazing. The link below will give you access to tickets. And if you want to get the ritual kit as well, if you are a Patreon member on the High Priestess level, you already automatically have tickets to the workshop, but you don't get access to the ritual kit. You would have to buy that separately. So just a heads up on that. Also, August, towards the end of August, we're also doing our workshop specifically on the Akashic Records 5-hour intensive. So if you want to learn how to read the Akashic Records, how to heal past lives, how to work with your ancestors through the records, and a whole bunch of different things that we could look at. The link to my website will be down below, and you can go check out all of the things that we're going to be talking about in that 5-hour intensive on my website as well. With that being said, we're going to get started in this video, and this video is specifically going to be on feeding your ancestors and the importance of feeding your ancestors. And something that I feel like a lot of people kind of forget, that on a basic level, when it comes to all global spiritual practices in connection to the ancestors, feeding your ancestors is the number one thing that you need to remember that you need to do. I feel like a lot of people, and I'm making this video specifically because I feel like a lot of people get lost at the botanicas and the spiritual shop sometimes. Like, you think that you need a candle, you need this, you need that, you need tools. Food is a tool, y'all. Food is both an offering, and food is a tool upon itself. You can use food and those offerings to manifest with your spirits. And a lot of time, food is seen as a form of currency with your spirits as well, because different offerings, it's not always going to be money or, flowers or, like different types of things that you do on the altar. Like, you could do an offertory candle. You can, meditate with them and have that time that you're spending with them be an offertory thing. Food and feeding them, actual, like, food also is a form of currency and a form of payment to the spirits. And just not even trying to make it seem like everything has to be so transactional, because it doesn't. Traditionally, in indigenous practices, you see this globally, spirits and different spirits, different like ancestral spirits were given offerings in order for to bring the rain, to bring or to not bring, like, for example, within my Taino culture specifically, there would be ceremonies done to Guavansesh to specifically not send hurricanes that are too bad and are going to destroy everything. Like, there were ceremonies done, offerings done, food given to appease different spirits, to appease the semis, to appease like different spirits, and to just not only like have them feel good, but also have that energy exchange, giving them the life of that food. Because I feel like a lot of people kind of tend to forget that everything pretty much has a soul. That includes plants, that includes food that is grown, right? Especially things that are not altered and stuff like that, or like food processed and stuff like that. All of this stuff has, a purpose, right? All of this stuff has energy. It carries energy. So when we are giving our spirits, our ancestors, let's just take our ancestors for example. When we're giving our ancestors food, especially like one of the things that I personally like to do in my practice is that I purposely, and I know I do this, I've been doing this since I was younger, like my family always makes extra food. We've always just made extra food. There's always food left over. There's never like, oh, the food finished. There is always extra food. So for me, it's like that extra food, there's always enough for me to like make a lunch and also give to my ancestors or give to my spirits. There's always like more than enough left, right, to do all of those things. And so when I'm cooking and I have that extra food left over, I'm like, I literally talk to my spirits, and I'm like, hey, who wants this? Who wants some rice and beans? Who wants, is anybody wanting what I'm cooking right now? A lot of the time while I'm cooking, I will already have like messages from my spirits, like of them wanting whatever that I'm cooking. Like they'll want me to serve them a plate. And so I already know, like, okay, they want a plate of this. Let me go prep and, get that together and like give them what they need. But it's really important to remember that, one, offerings, especially food offerings and feeding your ancestors, feeding your spirits, doesn't always have to be because you want something for them. Okay, a lot of the times that I give my spirits and ancestors food is not because that I'm like, okay, now that I give you food, can you do X, Y, C, and B for me? Like, it's also not even that. Like, it's also, I'm just like, I'm feeding you. You're part of the family. You're part of my whole entire spirit team. I'm going to make sure that you're good. That you have that energy that you need. Period. Like, just period. And so it's not, it doesn't always have to be transactional, but there are instances where I'm working on something, or my spirits, I did a reading or something's going on where I'm like, okay, I know specifically, like there's a spell that I have to do or something like that. And I'm cooking something. I'm like, you know what? Let me serve them a plate. Let me serve them a whatever. I give them more offerings without asking them for something than I offer them something and also ask them for something. Most of the time I just give it, right? But then when I give them an offering and I'm also like, hey, also, I know you guys, gave me the clear to doing the spell. I would really like help in X, Y, Z, and B. I would really like, if I can get assistance in this area. If you guys can kind of open the path in this way. When I say that, when I state those things, it happens and it comes to pass so quickly because I already have my ancestors and my spirits fed, because I already gave them the energy that they need, because I already like set up that space for them, so for me, it just like it's just a way of life for me to see it as, oh, I just have to take care of my spirits. And then a lot of the time when you are initiated and you're committed to taking care of your spirits, from different, and I'm talking about different initiatory like spiritual practices, you're just taking care of them. Like, you have to take care of them. Like, it's not always like, oh, but can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? Like, if you see your work and your relationship with your spirits as transactional all the time, that's like that's a red flag personally to me. I'm gonna be like, okay, I mean, I'm just gonna be a little like judgy, because I'm like, why would you just treat them like they're your maids or something? Like, that's not how it works. Like, that's not how it should work either. You should have a relationship with your spirits, right? And because it's important for us to maintain that relationship. If there is not appreciation, gratitude, and love in our connection to our spirits, then why are we working with them? Why are we, just why, like, if you have to make sure that you have that bond and that relationship with your spirits, and that gratitude, because then they know when you're feeding them, it's like, it's an honest thing. It's like, no, I'm serving you a plate because I want to serve you a plate, not like, oh my God, you know what, I could have made myself lunch, but I'm just gonna give it to them, and I'm just gonna give it to them because I guess I have to give this to them, but they're gonna help me with this later, so it's fine. Like, if that's your mental like way of thinking about like giving offerings and feeding your spirits, you need to reevaluate. And also, a lot of time when you have a mentality like that, you will find that your roads get blocked and crossed really quickly. Especially when you start seeing them as a transactional kind of thing. They'll start treating you as a transaction too. It's like, okay, well, you didn't give me the time and space that I needed. You didn't give me enough energy. You don't need, like, it just turns into, and mind you, not all spirits are like that either. Not all ancestors are like that either. There are some ancestors that will go to bat for you without you offering a goddamn thing. And that happens, but it's important to continue and maintain that relationship and honoring our spirits, to keep them strong, to keep them in a good space, but also to not erase, especially ancestrally, not erase that connection that we have to them as family. And even when it comes to ancestral spirits, they're still family. So it's like, are you really gonna treat your family like half-ass, like, oh, like, is they're transactional, like you're just using them for stuff? Like, it's weird, right? So it's important, all of this to say, feed your spirits correctly, okay? Feed your spirits correctly. A lot of you want to work different, intuitive skills. For example, you want to develop your clair, your different clairs and stuff like that. But then when they're trying to tell you, like, hey, serve me a plate, you don't want to listen. You want to be like, I didn't hear nothing. You kind of want to just act like you didn't hear, or you didn't get that urge or that feeling to go put something on their altar. Like, you most definitely did. You most definitely did. It is really, really, really important to, continue and maintain that relationship with your spirits. Think of it as maintaining a relationship with yourself. What do you do every day? How do you take care of yourself every day? You feed yourself. You make sure you're clean. You know how they say your body is a temple? It literally mirrors your altar space. The way you treat your altar, the way you treat your temple, your own body, mirrors and reflects the way you treat your spirits. And so if you don't feed them, are you really feeding yourself? Okay? Stop looking at it as transactional also. Look at it as, this is how I have a relationship with my spirits. When you have a relationship with someone, you take care of them. You make sure they're okay. You make sure they're good. You make sure they're fed. You make sure they're happy. You make sure they're feeling good. You make sure they're... Okay? It's the same thing with your spirits. It doesn't have to be complex or complicated. The amount of things that I have manifested in my life just by literally giving my ancestors flan and juca. The amount of things that I have manifested just by talking to my ancestors, just by praying. Literally no candle work, no other tools needed. Just by continuing that relationship, giving them some incense, because they love incense, and I love incense, so I gotta burn the incense every day. So just by giving them incense, talking to them, and just feeding them all of the time. And then occasionally, I feel like I pulled back a little bit on candle magic slightly, as far as how much I would do it. I mean, generally I didn't do it every single week. I had like a whole entire candle lit. It was not like that. But I feel like a lot of my practice right now is just maintaining like my relationship, and like something that the really in the basic level, just maintaining the relationship with them. Things that I've been doing for years, where it's just like, no, I gotta make sure the altar's clean. I gotta make sure they got their offerings, and we're good. I gotta make sure I pray. I gotta make sure I meditate with them. But it's not always about like light a candle or burn something or write this and that and petition, but ask for this and ask for that. You need to make sure that you have a relationship with your spirits. Because if not, all you're looking for is like a fling. All you're looking for is for that quick satisfaction to whatever that one thing is that you want. And that it's just not going to stick long term. And your spirits are meant to be long-term commitments, not just people you have a one-night stand with. It's just not how it works, okay? So it's important to feed your spirits. It's important to understand the ceremony of maintaining your spirits and giving them that sustenance that they need as well. Okay, and it's important to also know how that mirrors within you. You listening to the things that you want to do when in regards to your spirits, you listening to your body, your gut telling you, you know what, I'm gonna put some on their altar. I think I'm gonna put you listening to that is going to help you communicate with them better, because you'll be able to then open up your senses, open up your abilities to be able to be used better with your spirits. A lot of the time, I see people always asking and wanting to develop their spiritual gifts, but then they don't want to listen to themselves in certain situations that spirit's trying to communicate with them and trying to help them develop their skills by literally like using their abilities to communicate with them. By literally just like, oh, Abby, you know what? I don't know. Every time I walk by this area, I be having like, I just start getting like a headache. I don't understand. Or Abby, you know what? There's this bird that just keeps coming to my window every single day. I don't understand why it's what is the purpose. Like there's so many times where your spirits are trying to communicate with you, are trying to tell you like, hey, do this, do that. And y'all just want to question it instead of just listening to that inner knowledge, listening to your intuition and what is actually telling you to do. Okay? Feed your spirits properly, because while you're feeding them, you're also feeding yourself. That 1000% comes back to you, whether it's meant to or not. It's like you feeding your family is going to continue that line of not only the strength in the family, but that family will be able to continue to provide for the family. It goes around, it comes in, it goes in a circle. Okay. And it's important too, because not everybody in our families practice or takes care of the ancestors and the spirits. So the things that you personally do for the bloodline also benefits your family members. So sometimes you might not even see how that meal that you gave them, like, is even benefiting you. Because I always say this, and you guys know I always say this, not everything is about you. Not everything's about you. Some things are about other members of your family. You never know who they're helping. You never know what they're doing. You never know what they're up to. You never know which of your family members is praying for help and assistance. You never know what's going on. And so it's important to kind of understand that blessings come in multiple different ways, and the ancestors and spirits, they work in a lot of different ways. But the ceremonies that we do, those just offering them food and feeding our spirits, it is a very powerful way, honestly the most powerful way to manifest in my eyes. I'm just saying. And it happens so quickly. It happens so quickly. But anyway, I digress. I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Patreon down below. I am sorry that we didn't do the weekly healing circle on Monday. Your girl was tired. Your girl did a bunch of readings, and then I wanted to go to sleep so bad, like at 5 o'clock, and that's what I ended up doing. Like I fell asleep, and I just listened to my body, because it's Leo season. You guys know I'm a Leo rising, and cats take a lot of naps. Okay, so your girl needed to sleep. So your girl fell asleep, because that's what my body told me to do. You gotta listen to your body. But we will be doing live soon. Stay tuned for all of the things. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to sign up for the workshop, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.